Hi, I'm Leslie. I run One Time Stories, the storytelling project on this YouTube channel where true stories are told by almost anyone based on a particular theme. This is an update video and I've got a lot of updating in your face. So get your pens and papers out and do some writing down of the information. Why, that whole line was awful. First of all, we're going to discuss the more time-sensitive subjects. Are any of you going to Playlist Live in Washington, D.C.? Because I'm going to be there. We have partnered up with Community Unite, the community-centric track at Playlist Live, to bring to you a story circle at Playlist Live. So if any of you are going to Playlist Live or live in the D.C. or DMV area, please join us at Samuel Gompers Memorial Park. It's right next to the Marriott Marquis in Washington, D.C., September 5th, Saturday at 4:00 p.m. The theme for the story circle is Not What It Seems, otherwise known as the theme for the last episode of One Time Stories. If you haven't seen it yet, I suggest you make that time investment. Quick rundown, story limit is 5 minutes per story. You don't have to tell a story at the story circle. You can just sit and watch at the park. But it's a great way to make friends, and it's a good way to get out of your comfort zone and try something new. Secondly, the open calls for the themes for the September episodes are out in the world. The first theme is Nom Nom Nom, stories of food, cooking, and eating. And the second theme is Drink, Drank, Drunk, so stories of drinks, drinking, and being drunk. The two episodes are supposed to kind of go together. You don't film the story first, you fill out a form, and then we work on your story together, and then you film it, so you don't have to worry about filming a video before September 6th, but you gotta get a story to me by September 6th. So submit it to onetimestories.com/tell-a-story by September 6th. Have I said that enough? I will say we need more stories from people that are not white and not American. So if you fit in those categories and you're just on the fence of telling a story, then you should get off that fence. And if you're sitting there and thinking, Leslie, you waited until 2 days before the deadline to tell us about this story thing, please note that the people that have been following us on the social medias have known about this for a few weeks. So if you want to be the first to know about these open calls, please follow us on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, wherever you feel like following us. I know people have preferences. We don't just talk about open calls and episodes. We actually make posts about what's going on in the storytelling community, promoting other storytelling projects besides ours. So if you care about this kind of thing outside of this project, I don't know, you should look at those places. Speaking of those places, I asked those places to ask questions for this update video, and you're about to hear some of those questions now. Why don't you make videos on Leslie Founder Grail anymore? Because my grail is this project. How are themes chosen for each episode? In a couple of ways. Number one, if you donate $3 a month or more on One Time Stories Patreon campaign, you can actually submit a theme, and we will some point put it into the season. We've done that a couple of times now. Secondly, a lot of the themes are inspired by the stories that are actually submitted to One Time Stories. You don't have to wait for an open call to actually submit a story. So if you have a story that you really like, that you're really good at telling, maybe at a bar or at a party or something, you should submit that in. Talk about NerdCon stories. What about NerdCon stories? NerdCon stories is a conference that was put together by Hank Green and others of internet fame, and it's all based around the celebration of stories. And I was asked to be a featured guest on it. So I'm going to be on a few panels about storytelling. I'm going to be on the main stage, I think. I can't really talk about it yet. I never thought that I could say that sentence. I don't think I can talk about it yet. You have to understand that this is where my geekery comes in. I mean, there's a lot of guests that are novelists and authors and that kind of thing. But the people that I'm most excited to meet are people from the Story Collider and Snap Judgment podcast and Mortified and Welcome to Night Vale, and everyone that's just trying to do somewhat similar things as me, and then just kind of be a sponge that whole weekend. Can you describe a time when you got a submission of a great story, but the storyteller was not polished on camera? What kinds of ways have you coached a speaker who is camera shy? So if you have a very, very small audience, or if you don't even make videos at all, I'm gonna be very cognizant of that. When you send in a story, I email you back and we work back and forth, and I ask a lot of questions about your story so you become more comfortable with talking about it more and more into the camera. I do give tips as to how to set up a camera or your phone or your webcam. You don't have to have a fancy thing to do this. If you want to tell a story but you are camera shy, you just really have to trust me in knowing that I'm not gonna let you look like an idiot on this episode. Editing is a beautiful thing. I'm gonna take out all of the ums and uhs and needless phrases that you think are going to ruin the episode and be in the way of you telling your story. It's hard to see it when you're talking to a camera and just getting lost in your thoughts because there's no one responding to you. But I'm responding to you. Have you been trying new things lately in your own storytelling? Yes. Hold on. In the description bar down below, I'm going to link to you an episode of Slate's The Gist podcast. This episode features Matthew Dix, who's been on The Moth numerous times and other storytelling projects, and he's a writer of his own. And he talks about this ritual that he does every night before going to bed. Basically, you ask yourself, if you had to get up on stage and tell a 5-minute story about something that happened that day, what would it be? And then you write it down in no more than 20 words. I've been in a little funk in the last year or so about telling my own stories because I haven't really found a good story to tell both on my vlog and in real life. So what this little exercise has helped me see is where my patterns come in life and my arcs in terms of stories that I can find just in the mundane and the daily. Matthew Dix really goes into more length about it. I'm just gonna link it below. If you have some time, you should really check it out. And that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have a YouTuber or a friend or an artist that you think that should be involved in one-time stories, please leave them in the comments below. And I would love to look them up and pester them to be on this project. Also, sharing one-time stories with your friends, enemies, neighbors, strangers. I'm not going to turn it down. Have a good week. Have a great weekend. And